I don't know what it is, man. The music just kind of makes me happy.
It starts it
You
going.
know?
I know it's time again.
It means another new podcast. It means another move the needle. But we're live today. We're back in our hood down here in Ahwatukee.
Yes,
The living room.
the living room in what a lot of people would call almost a downtown Ahwatukee area. This area here.
Yeah, sure. And they've done a great job. You know, I mean, it was nice when Home Goods came in. That spiced things up a little bit for this area.
Yeah, this whole.
It's sad to see Big Lots going. It's sad to see like all the office people are going. But these guys, man, they've been knocking it out of the park for a while
and
now.
snooze is across the
so
way,
good.
and so there's somebody else moves in, and
As soon as somebody says snooze, you know what I think about? The sweet potato pancakes.
Oh,
with way too much syrup.
Oh,
There's just nothing better.
I love the
You've
fresh
been
orange
there.
juice. The
Yeah,
fresh
she
orange
knows.
juice.
I've been coming to the living room with my friends all the time.
So you're
With
like,
groups,
who's
yeah.
that voice? Let's introduce her.
Yes.
So today on our show, we're going to have some incredible people stopping by. We got Tom Dougherty is going to be our Spark interview today. Jennifer Armour's our Rising Star interview. And we're going to kind of start with Sarah Kumar, who we're going to call our local legend today. And people will understand why in just a couple of moments.
Hi, I'm Amy Richardson, owner-agent at the Savvy Realty Group. How long will your Ahwatukee home be on the market? In a hot market, and I don't mean the heat of our summers, where there's limited inventory, meaning there are more buyers than homes to purchase, you can actually expect your home to sell in just a few days. Although, I highly recommend for allowing the home to have the proper marketing time so you can get the most amount of offers with the very best terms.
Hello, I'm Laura Hertzler, head of school here at Keystone Montessori, nestled in the Ahwatukee foothills. We are celebrating over 25 years of serving the community with authentic Montessori education. Our community at Keystone is home to 12 classrooms serving children from 15 months to 15 years old. We take great pride in each of our Montessori environments that support our students at each stage of their development. Please call us today for more information. We would be happy to welcome you to the Keystone family.
She runs what you call the community center. Now, you had to explain that to me because I thought it was legitimately a community center when you sent me the email.
Right. Well, I would just, I assumed it was a little tongue in cheek, but since we moved to the foothills in 2009, approximately the same time.
2000, yes.
Yes.
We've been there
the
since
same time that
2008.
they
Yeah.
did. I know that literally every time I go there, I see people there. My daughter has been going there since from elementary school to grammar school. That's where we'd pick them up. That seemed like it's like the epicenter. It is the epicenter of after schoolness in the Ahwatukee foothills.
So on behalf of everybody and every parent in Ahwatukee, we're so sorry.
Yeah.
We're so sorry. All of our kids come down and they hang out. Do you love it?
I love all the kids. They are very supportive, and they're, we don't mind them at all. We want them in our store every day
That's
after
such
school.
a nice thing to say.
Even like fall break, I've been posting on Facebook, like come and support us. I'm sure they're out of town with parents. We miss them.
On fall break, yeah.
And
we're
now
taping
they're
this
like
during fall break.
every year, like when new school year starts, like we get like new kids. They don't know like if they're allowed to go after school, but when they come after after school with their parents, we'll tell them, hey, it's very safe, and they
This
can
makes
walk.
me very happy because I
Yes.
told Sarah before we started taping, I said, we were always the parents who were like, you're not going down there. You're just going to stand around. You're not going to buy anything. That's actually called loitering. We're not the family that loiters. And so we would talk our kids out of it all the time. They would get to go sometimes, but not every day.
We were not.
And this makes
were
me
the
happy.
opposite.
This makes I know you had a freaking charge card there.
My daughter, day one,
Yes,
she
I
had
have-
the
She
had
IOUs.
credit.
I have
Yeah.
few other kids that they have, what
the
do you call
dance-
tab?
Well, there's the dance school also. It's multiple. It's the school, but there's a dance academy that my daughter went to there. So after school, a lot of the girls will go to the dance school,
Yes.
and the water and ice is also
Right,
that's
yeah,
their go-to
yeah.
as
Isn't
well.
it a genius idea that somebody decided to freeze water and sell it? It's just brilliant, isn't it? And I know you've heard that 100 times in your
Frozen
life.
water. We sell frozen water.
It's so great. It's such a great thing that
They also have
sell
ice
those-
cream, and I've
Yes.
got some fun questions first. So we're
Let's
going to
go.
start them right away,
Fire
okay?
off.
Because as the community center, and we're talking with these kids, and you're having fun. If you were to create your own signature ice cream, your own Ahwatukee Foothills, what flavor would it be, and what influence would it be? What would you say?
As an ice cream, if I create my own, because I get all these kids after school and it's all about kids, I would pick up something like different, like, I know we have a lot of like 30 some flavors, but I would ask all the kids. I'll have
What
them.
would you create, Sarah? What
Oh,
would
what
you
would I
create? You're not
create?
asking.
Yeah, you got enough for the kids.
Yeah,
what
enough.
do you
What
want to
would
eat?
you see the kids if it's what's your signature ice cream? What would you create?
I would do different color of cotton candy. I know cotton candy is like popular, but I would do some different color than cotton candy, like blue and pink cotton candy. I'll do something just totally like red and black cotton candy, something like that.
What
that
would you make, Steve?
I would. I am I'm looking for the sucker flavors. I
sucker flavor
yeah,
too. Yeah.
like the green apple or something like that. The green
Caramel apple,
Do they
yeah.
make
ice
green
cream.
apple ice cream? I don't think I've ever heard of a green apple ice cream.
Nah, I don't.
There you go. I
I don't-
That's
invented
why
it.
you
Yeah.
need to invent it.
Yeah.
Maybe,
see?
yeah, like green apple caramel or something with the caramel,
For
I
me,
will go
it's
with the green apple
all
caramel.
about chocolate chip cookie dough. Hold the ice cream.
That's the
Chocolate.
old
Okay.
Yeah, just hold the. I don't need the ice cream at all. I just want the chocolate chip. I just want the cookie dough pieces. That's
Cookie
the only
dough
thing I'm looking
pieces,
for.
yes.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do take them out and I eat it.
That's
like,
the best.
just the
Right.
cookie dough
Right.
part.
Good for you. How did it even come to be? I was gonna say, you cut the ribbon, you unlock the door. Talk about that first day.
Okay.
Well, store has been there for 30 years. We moved here from Seattle, and it was a month of June. It was June 12th, and we were looking for a house in Ahwatukee. But instead, my husband said, let's go and take a look at the businesses, what kind of businesses are around or whatever, Ahwatukee. And we drove by Water and Ice, and my husband like, oh, what is this Water and Ice store there? What is this about? I'm going to go check in. And he left me and my 4-year-old son in the car at 112-degree temperature. And he'll be like, I'll be back in 2 minutes. Why don't you guys sit in the car? I'll be back in 2 minutes. I'll just check this door. And it was like, okay, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes. I'm like, my son is like, Mom, it's hot. We moved here from Seattle. And then I said, let's go and check in. What's Dad doing there, right? And I saw my husband and the owner of the Water and Ice, previous owner. He had some paper and pen in his hand, and they were writing down some numbers. And my husband said, we are buying this store. And I literally laughed at him, and I said, you can buy me a cone of ice cream, but not the store.
Yeah.
And he's like, no, this guy said he used to own a pizza place right next, like couple doors down.
Uh-huh.
It was TC Louisi. And he said he has that store on sale, but nobody's, coming for that one. So he'll sell the Water and Ice because he wants to retire. And I said, well, I don't really, believe that, but we'll see. And then my husband said, well, he said he'll call like by 7:30 or so, and then we'll see, And we went home. We waited for his phone call, and he called us around 7:30, 8 o'clock, and he said, come on, next day, you want to come over and we'll talk about it. And I'm ready to sell. And this is that's how we end up. We had no experience. We didn't know what Water and Ice is because we came from Seattle, and
Yeah.
in Seattle, we drink water out of faucet, and we didn't know what the Water and Ice is all about. And that's
You know
how
what
we
I'm
started,
sitting here thinking about, Sarah, is how many different stores have come in and out of that complex in the last 15 years alone, right?
Yes.
Like Subway seems to be the constant. It's been
Yes.
there for a long time. You guys obviously with Water and Ice,
Right,
been there a long
yeah.
time. Safeway's been there, but even that might change pretty soon.
Dance studio was used to be there, but then they moved.
Well, it's
to,
same plaza. They just
yeah,
moved
same
around.
plaza.
Okay.
Yes,
They're
yes,
long
yes.
timers. The preschool's long timers, but they've
Yeah, they've been
switched
there a long.
hands.
Are you talking about
Yes.
Triple R?
Yes.
Yes.
Triple R to
Triple R, yeah.
it's something else.
Yes.
You know. Oh yeah, there's been there's been
Well,
a
the
lot
pizza
of
place has flipped a
the-
couple of times, and now it's Vero.
Yeah, and then Edward Jones and Nail Place.
Yeah. Oh, the
they're-
nail place has been there a long time.
but there's been one
Well-
constant in all that time.
Yes.
Water
Which
and
one?
ice.
Water and ice.
Yes.
Sarah and
We've been
Rocky. Since that story that you're telling,
Yes.
since that day, boom, it's been that's
It's-
it. And then it's been the community center, really, because I met you guys soon after that.
Yes. Yeah, I
And,
think 2009
Yeah,
or
and
10.
so that was
yeah,
it was
been-
already they kind of stepped right into that position. It seems like it wasn't like you didn't have much time to ramp up. The kids
No.
were like there
Yes.
immediately.
What would people be surprised to learn about managing a store like Water and Ice?
We always have kids come in and they're like, "Oh, can I work here?" And we always tell them like, "Okay, how old are you?" You know, they'll be like 13
Uh-huh.
or even 10 years old, right? And they'll be like, "Can you like give us training?" And so like when we're old enough, we can work for you. And sometimes we let them behind the counter. I let them do it,
Yeah.
and I let them make like snow cones or scoop ice cream.
That's
Or,
cool.
What
Take
one of my
the-
questions has to do with that, with the ingenuity of the kids. You're dealing with those kids. You're kind of leading into this. Tell me, one of those kids had to have some good. Tell me some of the good ideas some of those kids come up with at the store. They've had to come up with some of those. I'm just guessing. They've
Well,
had to.
yeah, we have few kids. They're doing their own business. I have a girl. She asked us to like, can I have a like the bubble gum machine, gumball machine in our store. And so I'm like, well, if I tell you that you can have, then I have more people, since we know so many people. But that's a good idea. She's like, is that a good idea, like to start that business? And she got some ideas from me, like what kind of candy, like along with the gumball machine, what else she can do.
I like your story. These kids used you as an inspirational start to do their
Right.
own thing.
I love
Right.
it.
That's
Yeah.
pretty awesome.
Yeah, and they'll ask us like, where do we buy all these candies? They try to get ideas like, where do we buy our ice cream? Where do we make our own ice cream?
Is candy gotten super expensive just like everything else? Is it been influenced?
Yes, a little bit.
Yeah.
Yes, not too expensive, but for people, they will, especially for older people, they'll come in and they're like, "Oh, these used to be 25 cents,"
Yeah, not any
Still
longer.
get your Laffy
But-
Taffy.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're yeah.
What's the best
And
selling candy
there's
bar?
Steve's favorite, Zuzubi, and they're back now.
That's good. So what's your favorite? What's the best selling candy bar?
They're Laffy Taffies, as he said.
Oh, really?
Yes.
That's
Yes. There are like 5 flavors we have.
Interesting.
Nerds.
Yeah, nerds are a big seller.
Yeah. And
Okay.
then we have candy cigarettes.
Yeah,
They're
a big
very
seller?
popular. Yes.
Really?
Yeah. So all
I
these
mean,
kids,
I
they want
loved
to.
them as kids.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they want to be cool,
Yeah.
They just want to look, just
Look.
buy those and candy buttons. We carry a lot of old fashioned candy, and we have a lot of people. They'll come and especially Halloween time when they're going to like parties, like 80s, 70s, 60s parties. So we have those candies. We always carry. We'll have people come in and they'll ask like, "Oh, do you carry so and so?" And if we don't have it, we will, try to get it for them.
Okay, best. We got to
Yes.
wrap up.
Yeah.
Best candy bar. Your favorite?
My best candy bar. I'm the old fashioned Snickers.
Really?
Snickers satisfying.
That's chocolate, but
Chocolate.
you like
it's a
Zuzubi.
candy bar.
Yeah, no, I like Snickers. I'm not
Like
clowning
a
on
candy
it.
bar.
I
It's
know,
not a
but
candy bar.
you like Zuzubis, no?
I don't know about that. I
quit
have to
Jujubes.
explore it.
You
I have to
did.
explore that. I like a Charleston Chew. You know what that is?
Oh yeah, we
do.
carry those too. So
You
you gotta come by. Yes, we do
I
have.
haven't had one in
But
years.
also, before we go, real quick, The water and ice, I did want to mention, they do take their game on the road as well. So you
Yes.
also will see them besides.
Because yeah,
We have a mobile.
There's mobile
kiosk.
units. You'll see them at the
Concert in the
the
park,
Festival of Lights.
Festival
You'll
of
see them
Lights.
Yeah, all the school events, sports events, and
Yeah.
all those
Transportation days
transportation
and-
day.
I just think it's so cool what you get to do.
The biggest festival of light
Yeah.
we do for the community. That's the biggest event we do.
Right.
We're looking forward. That's on 23rd of November.
But as I was mentioning, it's the beginning of October, and it's still well over 100. So it's still great time to get your icy.
Well, now you want to get that
ice.
block ice and put it in your pool and try to cool that water
Yeah.
Oh
down,
yeah,
right?
we have a lot of people doing that for last couple of weeks. We've been
Yeah.
running out of block size,
Have you?
and they've been yeah,
We
they've
do it
been
all the
coming.
time.
Yeah, we had a customer came in and he was really mad because I think his son or his son-in-law, they turned on the heating in the pool by mistake. So then they came to get the blocks to
You
cool
know what?
down the
Yeah.
water.
That's the last thing. That's the last thing you want. But yes, so
How do you be mad in a candy store, right? Come on.
I never had-
So
I
anyways,
never
thank
had
you.
any,
Thank you so
you know.
much, Sarah. Thank you for
Yeah,
what you
thank
do.
you
Thank you for
for
taking
having-
care of my kids.
Yeah,
thank you.
Thank you
for
for-
taking care
Yeah,
of my kids.
and now I have a totally different attitude about the whole thing now, and that's what I'm super excited about. Like
You
now
gotta
when my
stop
boys
by
are
and
like,
get
"Can
some
we go?"
Charleston Chew.
That's it. And when my boys are like, "Can we go?" I'm gonna be like, "Hell yeah, get down there." She loves it.
Yes.
Thank
All
you,
right,
Sarah.
Thank you, Sarah.
Thank you so much.
You bet. You can set those headphones down on the table. If you want to grab that water, it's totally yours for the taking. Thank you so much. Yeah, it really does change the way that I look at water and ice because of what I just told you, we didn't go in there much. And now like I'm popping in.
And that's awesome. And I went day one, and I'm still a frequenter. And her husband Rocky, again, he's also, you'll see him around the community as well, especially on those mobile units at those events. They're fabric of that plaza.
cool.
So.
Well, let's get into more fabric. How about
Yes.
it, right? A rising star interview here on the Move the Needle podcast, which we are, by the way, live at the living room today in Ahwatukee. It's such a great venue. What I like about it is that we're like sitting in cozy chairs and we're just holding our microphones like old school podcast and radio shows.
And this is, and also too, and it's again, one of the epicenters of the area as well, where there's lots happening. And I want to mention some of our. This is, I think, a good chance to mention some of our sponsors.
Go for it.
Hi, I'm Amy Richardson, owner agent at the Savvy Realty Group. How long will your Ahwatukee home be on the market? In a hot market, and I don't mean the heat of our summers, where there's limited inventory, meaning there are more buyers than homes to purchase, you can actually expect your home to sell in just a few days. Although, I highly recommend for allowing the home to have the proper marketing time so you can get the most amount of offers with the very best terms.
Hello, I'm Laura Hertzler, head of school here at Keystone Montessori, nestled in the Ahwatukee foothills. We are celebrating over 25 years of serving the community with authentic Montessori education. Our community at Keystone is home to 12 classrooms serving children from 15 months to 15 years old. We take great pride in each of our Montessori environments that support our students at each stage of their development. Please call us today for more information. We would be happy to welcome you to the Keystone family.
We have Amy
blow 'em up.
Richardson, Savvy Realty.
Yes.
And
By the way, her episode, which was episode, I think, number 3, she talks about the one thing that every homeowner needs to know if they have a house that's built in the late 90s. It's a great interview. That's all I'm going to say. Keep going.
yes, and
It's called the tease.
Yes, and I want to talk about our new client. I'll
Okay.
jump to is Belle Lisette Lingerie.
This is beautiful.
Yes,
Welcome
they
to the
are
party.
also. They have a local establishment here and in Gilbert. It is a women's boutique, and you will see
Well,
them.
that's right. They are opening up the boutique.
No, they have one. They
It's
are
out.
they are here in Ahwatukee. They've been in Ahwatukee and Gilbert. You're thinking of Denise.
Oh, I am
downtown
thinking of
Chandler.
Denise. You're right.
Yes, Belle Lisette has been actually moved into Ahwatukee here, and we'll see them. They'll be running one of their ads here in the show too.
Amazing.
So
I'm actually wearing a Bella Set bra right now.
yes, and then again, one of our original sponsors, Keystone Montessori.
Yes.
You'll see them as well in the show. So we're thankful for them. Again, we're talking about the living room, local venues, local sponsors, local charities,
Yes.
local residents.
What a
and that,
beautiful segue,
yes,
Steve.
that's where we're
Just
about.
stop
So,
right there.
There we
right
go.
At and beautiful charities, and then let me just take over.
Thank you.
Jennifer Armour.
Thank you. For
Man,
having me.
here we go. The Armour Foundation. We have a lot to learn about what you do, and I'm excited to chat with you because as I was talking about the show here today with my wife last night, she reminded me of about 100 connections that you and I have, but I don't actually ever remember meeting you face to face, or at least spending any quality time talking to you.
No, we have never had a face to face.
No. How long have you known Jennifer, Steve?
Just from the community, just fairly recently. We featured the foundation and helped do some promotion, which we'll talk about. Their big promotion coming up.
The Dancing with the Stars.
Dancing with the Stars.
We're going to get into that. Yeah. So tell me, and everybody that's listening, a little bit about the Armour Foundation, because what you may not know is that we're real close to Meredith and her girls.
I did know.
And I know that they've been directly impacted by your work, which is incredibly special because they're just great souls.
You know, Riley just got her new hip.
I do.
She walked out today.
Really?
Yes. She
Hopefully
walked.
she just stays pain-free and keeps going, right?
She walked out.
Amazing. She's had some hip problems that have made life very painful for her for several years now. And she was supposed to get a hip replacement, but they weren't going to do it until she was like 14.
Right.
We're probably giving away way too much of the stories. We violated all the HIPAA laws
We
now.
violated them all, but
Yeah,
I have written authorization. I can say whatever I want.
Okay, good.
news.
Yeah, we're close to them too. So tell us a little bit about what the foundation does.
So what the Armour Foundation for Kids does is we help families that have children with life-altering medical conditions. And we help that family with their medical bills. So we cover their medical bills for up to a year. So they have no co-pays, no doctor pays, no prescriptions. We'll use Riley as an example. We cover her flights to go out of state for her procedures. We've flown 2 kids to Italy for our gene therapy and help raise the funds to have them live there for 6 months.
It's critically important because you think about like if your kid, something happened to your kid, and this is the pretend you're in this situation moment, right? It's like if your kid was really going through something, can you even fathom not being by their bedside? No.
Can't.
And that's if a child's lucky enough to have 2 parents.
That's it.
So they're struck with, do I pay the mortgage or do I pay their prescription?
Right. Do I go with? Is she on her own? Like, there's so many things that so many people have to face that they shouldn't have to face, but a foundation like yours removes the barriers.
Yeah, there's so many
It's
wonderful.
amazing.
There's so many wonderful nonprofits, and we all do something a little bit different.
Yes.
And when I started, I found that they're able to help with certain things, but we are like, that's not going to do it. So we literally will fundraise and raise as much money as we can to cover those medical bills. And they can reapply after a year.
So how do you fundraise?
So we have major events. We have private donors. We have corporate sponsors. Your next guest is one of my donors. I've known them for a while, and I've known Water and Ice for a while. So I reach out to the community and say, hey, I need help with this. We need to raise this. We have a blood drive. We need this. But our 2 biggest events is our annual gala, which we just had, and then we do the Dancing with the Stars.
Mm-hmm. So let's talk about that Dancing with the Stars bit. It's
Yes.
been around, it's been in the community for a little bit. Where are you holding it this year?
So typically we hold it at Fred Astaire Dance Studios here in Ahwatukee, but because we've gotten so large, we're holding it this year at the Ashley Castle, and we're going to have.
That's a cool venue.
Yeah.
It is a very, very cool
Good
venue.
news, getting too large, growing out of venues.
it
That's
is.
really good news.
It is.
You got to stop eating donuts.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hey,
I'm just kidding.
I'll take it wherever I can get it.
Amen.
Yes.
So we're going to have 4-course dinner and a little show, and then the Dancing with the Stars starts afterwards.
So how does it work for people that don't understand it? Because they're like local people that are known.
They're all local people.
Yeah.
Some aren't even known. Last year it was the butcher at Fry's. Spencer for Hire Roofing, both husband and wife were in it last year.
Did they win?
Actually, Donna Spencer won Audience Choice.
Wow.
And Audience Choice, excuse me, I've been battling this cold. Audience Choice is they participate in a peer-to-peer fundraiser. So each participant has to raise funds on top of the dancing. So we have the judge's choice and then we have the audience choice.
That's so cool. One of our friends, Monica Gelman,
She's doing it this year.
She is doing it this year, and she's helping to fundraise. And so the way I understand it was she goes over to Fred Astaire. She learns her dance with her dancer pro.
Yes.
And then if she needs any fine-tuning, she takes care of that. But then, like, on game night, she does the dance.
Yes.
And is it like crown a winner kind of a thing?
Oh, yeah. We have professional judges within the Fred Astaire dance community, and they actually will judge and critique them and do a Q&A. It is so much
How's your
fun.
dance game, Steve?
Well, I will say that you will see me on stage. I was all the way. We're talking my daughter's dancing. I was a mainstay at the daddy-daughter dance. So I got decent ratings. They
Yeah.
put me up front. That was
Okay.
probably
Has
because
he
my
done your
daughter.
thing before?
No, neither have you actually. So I've got room for 2 more guys.
You know who's a really good dancer? My wife.
Oh.
She went, she full ride to Kansas because of her dancing skills.
Well,
Wow,
We
you
may
got
have
things.
to
You got
talk.
something to think about.
Yeah. She's dynamite. She's good.
Oh, but what about? So you're asking me now? I'm batting it back to you. Your wife's good. Yes, you've got one.
What kind of dancing can we do?
so
Is it
it's
all
open.
ballroom?
No.
Can we do a contemporary piece?
Yes, we've actually done a contemporary piece. We've done line dancing.
Oh, that's fun.
I think you've just signed up.
We've done.
I think he's just pretty much.
We've
signed
done
up.
every type of
I
dance.
think you found your spot.
No, I said I had 2 spots.
Well,
Steve.
him and his wife.
No, I said 2 men, Steve.
Oh, 2 men. Ooh.
No, she's got 2 men. She's good.
Oh no! I have 3 men. I have 2 more spots open
Oh, for this year's
for
event.
this year's event.
Oh, interesting.
For a couple. That's what I'm saying. I'm asking for a couple.
No, because you can't dance with your spouse.
Oh.
You're
I was
paired
trying to-
with a professional.
Okay, gotcha. Okay.
But I think I can make room. I can get her in.
Yeah.
Something to think about.
Well, I'll talk to her about it.
Yeah. Well, I want to circle back to the seriousness of what you do in the community. My question is, I mean, Jennifer, I know, and from seeing you at these events, the heavy lifting, what does it take? What's your motivation? What keeps you going? What's the drive that keeps you doing this?
When you have to look at a parent and tell them, don't worry, I've got you. I got your back. And you see that weight lifted off their shoulders, that's my drive.
Wow.
That's what pushes me.
That's like a superpower there.
Well, I'll use Meredith because she knows I love her and I can talk about her all I want. She'll call me crying and we'll talk it through. Don't worry, I got it. We'll figure out a way. And that's what we do. So I will keep fighting so that they don't have to. Their focus is to take care of their child.
Need a lot more people like Jennifer. Boy, that's a
Actually,
refresh.
we already got her. We just need a lot more people to give money to Jennifer.
Yes,
so that
that's for
she
sure.
can continue
Amen
to
to
do,
that.
Yeah, do what she's doing.
Okay.
That's where I want to take this.
I mean, we're a qualified charitable tax organization, so
Yes.
it's dollar for dollar on your state taxes. You name it, I got it.
I love it.
Where's the future? Where's the Armor Foundation? Where's the growth?
Ooh.
I mean, Dancing with the Stars. I mean, you've grown out of that. Some new events? Talk about that.
So I do have a couple. We're doing a cornhole tournament. That's going to be in honor of
I'm
Jackson.
getting good at cornhole.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Jackson,
You sign up and you got another sign up for him.
this one's actually going to be held at the Whole 9 Yards in Gilbert.
What's that? That's it. Yeah.
Yeah, they're wonderful. They donated the space to us. It's going to
nice.
be in honor of Jackson. He actually just passed away. It was going to be a fundraiser for his medical bills, but we're shifting gears. So we have that coming up, and we've got a few other things in the works. My board puts up with my harebrained ideas, and we talk it through. And we figure out if it's going to work, but we've got a few things in the works. But I don't push it until I know I have everything set in place.
Yeah, sure. So how can people get involved with your Dancing with the Stars event?
On our website, there are the dancers that are already confirmed. Their photos are there. If you find a dancer that you can sponsor them. You could buy tickets to the event. It's going to be an amazing event. We have so much fun.
You said 4-course meal.
4-course meal. And there's going to be a little show. Prior to that, we've actually partnered with ACT. Their show choir is going to do a little performance.
That's cool.
Melissa and I have spoken, and they're going to do a little performance during the dinner and have a little bit of education. And one of our Armor kids is going to speak. And then we go into the show, and that's where we have a blast.
I love it. Well, good luck. We'll put the link in our show notes so that
Thank
people
you.
can connect to you. And, who knows what's getting ready to happen. There could be some of these people involved in it.
Yes, it sounds like it.
Hey, you got my cell number.
Yes.
All right. Thank you so much,
Thank
Jennifer.
you.
Jennifer.
Really appreciate you
Yes,
coming down. It's
thank
called
you.
the Armor Foundation. We'll link to it in our website so that people can get involved. And I don't know if you noticed, but Amy Richardson walked in just as
Yes.
we were kind of wrapping up, and I saw her walking in, and I waved a little hello, but we didn't see each other in that moment, and it was awkward for me because I waved, but she didn't see me, and so
We gave you a little
Hi, Amy.
shout out just minutes before. Your ears
minutes
were ringing.
before.
Yeah.
Just minutes before. All right, listen, now we're going to get into our interview with Tom Dougherty, our Spark interview tonight. Now, you came up with the acronym for Spark, and I wrote it down. Socially engaged, passionate, active, respected, key player. Check, right? That's Tom Dougherty?
Yes, he's got a lot of check marks on a lot of our acronyms, but that one works just as well.
An interesting guy who goes to San Diego State University, studies to become a stockbroker. Guessing he does that for a little while, but now he's what he calls an impact coach. And man, does that have my interest piqued. So many people since COVID have chosen to leave their corporate jobs and start their own things. And so many of these people are just like me, Steve. They're really good at just one thing, which means they suck at everything else that it takes to run a business and to actually turn it into something.
Yes.
This is where he comes in.
Yes, and I know that you were excited to have him because of that, because of our prior conversations. So
Yeah, are we on the clock? Am I allowed to ask him anything I want?
I think I think Tom's the type of guy
You can
that
ask me. You can ask me
yes,
anything you want.
He is
Yes.
the type of guy. I've got some.
Welcome
I got
to the
some good
podcast,
ones
man.
from him too.
Thank you. Thanks for having
Yes,
me.
thank you.
So good. I almost wore a blue polo, so I'm glad I went maroon. And you got light, but we actually coordinate well here.
This is good. This is good.
What does it mean to be an impact coach?
So what we mean by impact coach is we really want to make an impact in the community. And that's the theme for Action Coach. Is the name of our business is Action Coach. And we're the world's largest coaching firm. We're at 84 countries, 1,100 coaches worldwide, 30 years of doing it. I've been an Action Coach for 8 years now. We just celebrated 8 years last month. And I've been in here in Ahwatukee for 13 years. And so being a coach that makes an impact, I believe that when you help a business owner succeed and they're getting abundance in their lives, you're creating abundance in their team's lives. So when your business is growing and scaling, you're creating jobs. And so when you give somebody a job that needs a job or needs a better job, you're creating abundance in their life, in their family's life right now today. And that's right here in the community. One of my goals is to create 1,000 jobs right here in Arizona. I think I have to change that to a bigger goal now because I think we're getting close to hitting that. And we also have some clients outside of Arizona. So I think I might have to change it to more of a nationwide
Maybe
goal.
a Southwest.
Yeah, Southwest.
Yeah,
That'd be good.
Expand
Southwest, we're creating 10,000 jobs in the Southwest.
And then it'll be 100,000 in the Western Hemisphere, and then it'll be 1 million nationwide.
total domination, one spot at a time
By
by helping
2040.
people create abundance.
Done.
Yeah.
I love the answer, man.
Yeah.
Good for you, and
Yeah.
good for you to recognize that it isn't just about the person sitting in the big chair.
That's right.
It's about that entire team and
Absolutely.
who they touch and who they impact.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You know, I do a lot of speaking, and one of the things that I do is I work with teachers on specifically burnout. And we always talk about, man, these poor folks, and not just teachers, but a lot of people, man, they are burning the candle at both ends. They're so torched, and they just don't have anything to give anybody any longer. And so, you know, somebody like you comes in, turns their world around, puts them into this sort of abundance mindset, gets them on the right page, and man, the trickle down effect, that's the one we want. It's good what you did.
That's right. That's right. Creating abundance, and so they're not living in scarcity. Even if they're doing really well, and we have small businesses around here that are just crushing it. I mean, they're making a lot of money, some of them, but they still don't have a work-life balance. They're putting in like 60, 70, 80 hours a week at work. They never get to spend time with their spouse or their kids. You know, they're not taking care of their health. And then you mentioned burnout with teachers. It's the same thing. Burnout with small business owners is huge. Next thing you know, they're out of shape. They're losing their hair. You know, they're drinking or doing drugs and having a heart attack, or somebody else is paying attention to their spouse. And then there you go. It's just terrible. It doesn't matter how much money you bring home.
It's pretty much my story.
Yeah, and a lot of people's. That leads me to actually a question, kind of sort of what I was thinking. How do you balance that when you're talking to a business leader, that sense of urgency for success versus what you know they need is the long-term vision? Everybody wants to be where they want to be, go from 0 to 10. But I know you have to rein them back and say, you got to get to 5 before you get to 10, buddy. And so talked about that.
That's right. So we do always start with the end in mind. You know, we start with the big goals, but a lot of people don't have super big goals. And it's not my job to tell you as the business owner that your goals are too small. My goal is to make sure you hit those first goals. And then when you have you hit those goals, like we had some clients this week that hit their year goal for the first time in 3 quarters. And their mind was just blown. And so now their vision's getting much bigger, and what they can do, what they're doing for their team and their family, their wealth building, and impact of their church and their community with all this extra time and wealth, because we've actually been adding team to their team. And so they've gone from, they were attorneys in another state, going from 70 hours a week to now they're under 40. Believe it or not, to have an attorney that works under 40 hours is usually unheard of. So
I like it. I like the question. It is a good question, right? Because I always tell people, like, nobody makes it that doesn't hustle their ass, right? Like, and so that has to be a part of the equation. Like, you got to have some turbo fuel in there.
Yes.
But you got to get to a point where you're smart enough to know, like, when am I almost out of the turbo fuel?
Yeah.
You know?
I call it a ramp up. And what I've seen, and me,
Yeah, but it's hard to run uphill.
And to me, I've sat through some of Tom's presentations, and so I've been able to experience some of the things that he's talking about here. And I just what I see on the streets is that there is a 12 to 24 month ramp up for businesses when you're starting up. That a lot of them. If they come from the corporate world, like you say, you're jumping in, that it's just completely unfamiliar territory. It's unfamiliar territory. I've run into them, all over the place. And I want Tom to share a little bit about that, because I know you know what I'm talking about. I actually had a client that was very, very successful in corporate America with I'll tell you, with the Fridays franchise, and then peeled off, and he was successful. But when you're with the Fridays franchise, you don't realize that they're spending millions of dollars a month in marketing budgets, and they have
People
somebody
keep walking through the front door, don't they?
and they have somebody doing everything. Well, when you come in and you start your own deal, you're having to do a lot of that yourself, and there has to be a deeper understanding. And if you don't have a coach, a mentor, somebody with direction, I really don't know how you see your way through it. What say you?
Yeah, I think franchises are good, by the way, because they already have a lot of systems in place. And then, of course, the economy of scale and how they built that thing out. And hopefully they have some good training for you. But I actually coach a lot of franchisees. So the franchises are good at putting some of the systems in place. They're good at the big marketing to get people to come in the front door. But they still have to grow the person. So see, a business will only grow to the level of the leader. So they can set all the goals they want and have these huge goals and all the systems in place and have all the dues you got to do. But as long as that leadership never grows, the business isn't going to grow. The team will sense it. They'll leave. Number one reason people leave a job is because of their manager, their leader, or lack of leadership skills or communication skills.
Check.
Right? So the formula for life success is be times do equals have. So if we work that backwards, we get really clear on what you want to have. That's the goal. Your goals for business and in life. They could be material things. They could be money. It could be experiences and travel. And then we work it backwards. So what do you have to do in order to have those things? Okay. And then who do we have to be or become in order to do those things, in order to have those things? Let me give you an example of that. So a lot of companies get stuck at around $1 to $2 million in revenue. So whether you're a trade company or a law firm, even dental offices, they can get to $1 million, $2 million in revenue from word of mouth, and they're doing a lot of the work themselves. They might have 1, 2, or 3, 4 team players on their team, but then they're stuck. And so who they need to become, who they need to be, work on their be, right, to get to $10 million is different than who they are today at $1 million in revenue. So that's where a coach will come in, especially with somebody with like executive coaching experience, really works on the leadership and not just you got to do this in your business, do this in your business, do this. Well, a lot of the great business owners, they know the do's. We can remind them of what they should pick next, focus on one thing at a time, but we got to work on them. So we are working on the formulas, what you need to do in order to have, but like, what do we got to do to work on you? Right. So
I want to dig into some of your experience. You created this paintball gun once upon a time. You sold that business.
Yep.
I'm assuming that went well. I'd love to hear the story behind it, and then really what I want you to focus on is the if there's a lesson, is there a big takeaway from that experience that you speak about when you're in front of folks?
Yeah, big takeaways from that. How it started when I was a financial advisor. There used to be these mutual fund and insurance wholesalers that would come in and take us to lunch and try to wine us and dine us and take us golfing, to get us to sell their products to our clients, right? Well, there was this one guy that came in and he decided to take some of us financial advisors to play paintball. And I'd only tried it once or twice in college. It was too expensive for a college student. So we went out, we had a great time. Well, a few of us in the office got hooked on playing paintball. We ended up playing paintball like every single weekend. We were buying the jerseys and the pants and our own paintball gun. They call them markers. We buy them on eBay. And then I found these two guys at Camp Pendleton that were working on all the paintball guns. These guys were the paintball nerds. One guy was, he was electrical engineer in the Navy, and the other guy was an auto mechanic. And I could just see all these adults and kids would come up to these two guys and ask them, hey, can you fix my gun? Can you do this, that? So I asked him, so what's the best paintball gun to have? And he goes, well, the Angel shoots really fast and the autococker shoots very accurate. So my mind is spinning, and my why is there's always a better way. Yeah. Using the why operating system is one thing I'm certified in. If you want to know your why, there's actually only 9 different whys. There's got to be a better way. And they're saying, well, there's this electronic trigger frame from a company out of Denmark that you can put on an autococker. They're hard to get and they're expensive, and they come from Denmark. So I said, okay, I got to get one of those. Contacted the company, tried one out. It was awesome. Flew to the World Championships of Paintball in Orlando, Florida in October. I was living in La Jolla at the time.
Yes.
And my parents were like, you're like an adult, right? So this is like when I'm like 30 years old,
right,
31 years old. I'm flying to Orlando to go to the World Championships, not to play,
this is when
but
you can
to
finally
meet the
afford
people.
to do it right, dude.
Yeah. So
right.
I go there, I meet the guys, I buy the rights to the trigger frame for the U.S., and then I hired this designer from Sweden. He comes over and he lived at my house in our spare room, and we bought a CNC machine and put it in somebody's garage that I met, a machining shop, and we started designing together the world's fastest shooting paintball gun called the Race Gun Half Block, and you can look it up still today. The company's been sold. They no longer produce that gun anymore. It was taking a lot of market share from the bigger companies, gun called the Intimidator. I think they might still make that one today. So they kind of killed it after a few years. So it was fun. What I learned though, I learned about making paintball guns, as a financial advisor. That was interesting. I love watching that show, How Things Are Made. But really, I learned how that all the things that business owners go through, as opposed to working in the corporate world. When you're in your corporate world, you're staying in your lane. Like you're either doing sales or you're doing operations or product development or marketing. But as a business owner, you have to do everything at first. And then you also need to learn how to hire and fire and train and put the systems in place and do the marketing and do the sales. And man, I wish I had a business coach. I didn't even know there was such thing as business coaches for regular people. I could have been so much more successful had I had a coach.
It's the truth. Everybody has to have one.
Yeah.
I mean, we had coaches in radio all those years. We had, I have a speaker coach that I work with because I speak. I mean, you have to get somebody smarter than
I've
you,
been
man.
consistently
You can't
business
see your
coach.
blind spots.
Yeah.
You can't see them, and you need somebody to not only coach you, but hold you accountable and ask that question. Hey, did you do that thing we talked about?
Oh, that's definitely part of it. Focus, accountability, and holding their feet to the fire to get it done.
I got a fun one for you. Okay, so obviously very knowledgeable. You can go back in time. Any business owner who you feel big company wasn't coached, you go. Who would you go back and say, if I would have put my arms around this baby, they would have went to the top?
Oh boy, if you look, that's a tough question because if you look at
basically ask them who sucked because they didn't hire you.
or who did you ever look at and say, if you could go, or anyway, go back in time, you could say, I should have, if I would have went in there, this would have been different.
Yeah, I look at all the top CEOs and COOs in the world in the Fortune 500. Those guys all have coaches.
Okay.
Right? Baseball players, golfers.
Coaches.
Phil Mickelson's got 5 coaches.
But we found that baseball players don't always take a lot of leadership skills from their managers. We learned that in an interview.
Shea Hildebrand was a unique
different.
bird.
Yeah,
he was a unique bird.
But Mike Scioscia did. So if you ever listen to Mike Scioscia's story, who was the manager of the Angels, he was the catcher for the Dodgers, learning his great leadership skills from Tommy Lasorda.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yeah, one of my favorite books is called Whatever It Takes, and it's Russell Wilson and his mental fitness, his mental strength coach.
Right.
And they collaborated on this book, and Russell's open about it. He's like, listen, I got a fitness coach, I got a strength coach, I got a play coach, I got a quarterback coach, I got a mind coach. He's got a coach for every area of his life.
Yeah, absolutely. I have quite a few coaches in my life right now. Sadly, I've had 2 golf coaches fire me. So they've quit on me, let's just say. So I think they're just being nice.
Because you're so good
and,
they can't
no,
fix
that is
anything?
not the problem. I think maybe something's not fixable and they just give up too soon. I'm not sure.
Damn, man,
but,
I wanted it to be the other one.
I have an opening for a golf coach. If anybody's watching this that's a golf coach so has a good referral for me, that would be awesome. But to name somebody, I won't name anybody. But what I will say is there have been times when I've met with business owners and they haven't come on to coaching. And then I see them a year later or 2 and they're out of business.
So he's actually speaking in code for the answer. He just doesn't want to call them out, but
Yeah.
he does know exactly what I was asking. Like he's like, gosh, if I could have just got in there, that wouldn't have happened.
What? I mean, and we should talk about this because it's
Yeah.
important. People think they can't afford it, right? People
Right.
don't want to afford it. They're
Right.
like, oh, I
Yeah.
don't know if I
Yeah.
can afford it, but then they don't get the tools they need. So how do you
Yeah.
help people strike that balance?
Well, for one, coaching pays for itself at Action Coach. So we have a guarantee in 4 months coaching will pay for itself. So I find my fee.
Okay.
So not other business coaches around the world besides Action Coaches can say that. So otherwise we'll coach you for free until we do. And I've never had to coach anybody for free. So, but, going back to the people that didn't hire me and then failed or still stuck in the same spot. Maybe they didn't go out of business. Maybe they're still where they were 3 years ago, which sometimes is worse. It's honestly my fault. I didn't convince them that they should hire me. I didn't do a good enough job in that presentation meeting to bring them on board. So it kind of hurts.
Yeah. All right. I like the ownership in that. You didn't have the right sequence of words. You didn't have the right slides.
Sounds like a
You
real
didn't have
coach goes down with the ship.
Yeah. No, that's what I said. I
like
can kind of
that.
appreciate that, right? Like at the end of the day, it's on me.
Now, there are some clients I'm not for everybody. But there might be a coach that is. There's always a coach for everybody. Everybody should have a coach. I might not be the guy for everybody.
Okay.
So just sit down and have that meeting and find out if I am.
So let me ask you a question. Is it relates to entrepreneurship and a lot of the folks that you help out? I'm assuming you help out small businesses, right?
I do help out small business and big business. Yeah.
Okay. So when you're working with small business and you're working with people that aren't quite at $1 million yet, maybe it's like we can take like almost this for an example, right? Like this podcast, we're getting it started, we're launching it, we're getting off the ground, we're doing our thing. What are the 3 things that we're going to screw up on that you can save us a little time and effort? Because I think whatever you say to us should apply to other people that are trying to get an adventure
great.
off the
All
ground.
right. So a free coaching session for everybody watching, right?
Yes.
So that's what you mean. Okay. So what I would say is you guys are doing everything. You'll do everything under the sun as far as your business. But you really need to figure out what you're really, really good at. I call it your genius. 1, 2, or 3 things that really moves the needle in your business, right? And then you need to either delete, that means don't do, delegate, or defer the other things that you were doing before.
We're kind of doing that already. I kind of like that. We're having those, and we had those conversations at the beginning, and I said that those are important. We know the lanes behind the scenes.
Okay.
Not that we can't get better, and we need coaching.
Yeah.
But I've been.
Delete, defer,
let's
what was
say I've
the
been
other one?
semi-coached by Tom already. So.
Delete, delegate, and
Delegate
defer.
and
And then the fourth one, the 4 Ds, is just do.
Just
what are
get
the
it
things
done.
that you need to do in your genius, right? So if you go and look at how much money you should be making and divide that by how many hours you're working, you come up with your hourly worth, right? What you are worth by the hour. And if you can pay somebody less money to do that, why should you do that, right? So in Dan Martell's book, Buy Back Your Time, he actually uses an ROI of 4X. So like, for instance, if you value your time at $100 an hour as a business owner, and you can pay somebody $20 an hour to do it, 4X times 20 is only 80. Therefore, you should be hiring somebody right away. So he uses the 4X rule for that. But I say if it's anything less than what you're at, you should be doing that.
It's good.
So what? Another question, kind of on that. What to our audience and people out there? What? I know this. It may be too general. What's one pitfall you see people fall in over and over again that you could throw out there? Say, right out of the gate, whether it's us or it doesn't matter who it is.
Yeah.
What do you see?
I see they don't have a proactive planned week. So they don't have, we call it the default diary. Diary meaning a calendar. Action Coach came from Australia. In the UK, they call a diary a calendar, right? So they don't have it pre-planned out what you should be doing, and you need to have those things in your calendar. So when a lot of us make to-do lists, right? And we get to-do lists, and we don't always get everything done. I mean, nobody ever gets everything done. If you look at all the things in your life that you could put on your to-do list, they don't ever all get done. You just have to prioritize. But when things are on your to-do list, you might bump it till tomorrow. Oh, I can just get this done tomorrow, tomorrow. But you never miss an appointment, Steve. I've known you. You always show up for an appointment, right? So if you were to take that important thing on your to-do list, put it on your calendar, and make an appointment to do it, then it'll get done. So you got to proactively, okay, if I want to have 5 sales meetings, presentations a week, where are they on my calendar? And if I actually make a spot for them, the law of a vacuum says it'll get filled. So okay, I know that I got to fill that spot. And so all my activity level for the week has got to be to fill those spots.
What point do you get to? Is it the 1 to 2 million mark, or is it a little higher? What point do you get to where you get to start the descent down the mountain, right? Where you are hiring other people to do most of the work, you're stepping back and maybe doing more development?
Yeah, so that's a great question. Depends on the type of business, but in a normal trade business or small business, it's normally to get to $1 million or more, you need to have 2 or 3 people. right? So you're probably still doing it. Your customers are still asking for you, right? You're the go-to person. If you're the attorney, your name's on the building. They want you to represent them. If you're the hair salon, they want you to cut their hair, right? So at some point, though, you got to have a team that is good, almost as good as you, or better. That's the ego factor that gets in everybody's way.
I'd say better.
Yeah, if you can find people that are better and train them up better, the business owner always thinks they're the best person to do it. Well, what if you had 3 people that were better than you? What if?
Would your ego let it ride?
Yeah, that's usually the problem is they don't get it done. Or if I were to hire someone to train them to do it, like by the time I trained you, Steve, I could do it 3 times over by the time I trained you to do it. I'm just going to keep doing it. Okay, now you're 80, and I've been doing it my whole career, and the business doesn't run without me. So now my biggest thing that I've built, my business, I can't sell because it doesn't run without me.
Talk about not selling. Isn't the number, I'm not sure what it is it staggeringly high, the amount of people that aren't able to sell their business because they don't do these things?
Here in Phoenix, it's over 95% of this businesses just close their doors when it's time to be selling.
Just as it's staggering, 95%.
Yeah, they just
could
lock
sell,
the doors.
They don't. They didn't have the proper plan in place.
Yeah, they have nothing to show for it after their whole career. It could be 20, 30, 40, 50 years, 55 years maybe. I don't know, a long time, right? And then they retire with regrets. Hopefully they put enough money in the bank.
We got to end on a good note.
Yes.
I could talk to Tom for 4 days. So let's end on the upswing.
Mm-hmm.
What's real positive out there happening right now that you think people should get excited about?
I'm excited that when the business owners, they're killing it, and they see that the abundance in their lives, they're giving back to the communities we live in. So I know the business owners are getting involved with Jennifer Amir's foundation. Awesome. They're really they're giving back in a big way in their communities. So they're not only providing jobs and doing well for their family and leaving a legacy, but they're usually the biggest contributor to their churches and to charities and to foundations.
Which just kind of keeps you going.
It does.
Yeah.
It absolutely does. And that's where the word impact would come in.
Right.
Yeah.
Tom Dougherty, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me, guys.
Awesome.
This is a great guest. Good booking,
Awesome.
friend.
I knew that. I knew he's, he answers the questions, and I knew we wouldn't get one by him. We almost got one by him, but he circled back and got to that one.
Yeah.
I like
All right.
that.
Well, listen, thank you very much for
Thanks
stopping
for having
by.
me, guys.
Real quick before you bug out, man, how do people get in touch with you if they really want to be a part of what you're talking about?
The easiest way to find me and some of our events coming up is my website, actioncoachofaz.com.
All right, we'll put that in our show notes
All
as
right.
well.
Great, guys.
Thank
Thank
you
you
very
for having
much,
me. Have a
man.
great weekend.
Yeah, you're welcome to get up and walk around and go grab a drink. It looks like they brought a huge charcuterie board out there for us here.
For you, especially.
Yeah. Well, the big man and all of our guests can enjoy that right now. Amy Richardson's over there. She can enjoy a little bit of that as well.
Yes.
Fantastic episode, man.
I thought so. It was really indicative of what we talk about, a community, really a community feel, community podcast from the venue to our guests. I think we hit it all there.
Yeah. Feels good. I feel satisfied. Like,
yeah,
when
I
you eat a
thought
good
so.
meal and you're like, I feel satisfied.
Yeah. We got, like I said, I think we covered it all.
Good. Now I'm going to go eat myself.
Thank
All
you.
right. Thank you so much to the Living Room for hosting us. Thank you to Bella Sett. Thank you to
Martin
Amy
Jacob
Richardson.
Living Room. Yes. Awesome. Awesome setup here. Bella Sett, Amy Richardson.
It's all good.
Keystone Montessori, our sponsors. So
Yeah.
thank you.
We'll see everybody next time on our
Okay.
Move the Needle podcast. See you,
Thank
Steve.
you.